Okay. Good morning and welcome to the State Ethics Commission. Today is April 17th, 2024. And the time is 9:01. First of all, let's have roll call. And if you respond, please say if you're alone.
Starting with Vice Chair Tobias.
I'm here and alone.
Commissioner Hong.
I'm here and alone, although there will be people working on the roof, so you may hear some pounding. But they're outside. They will be outside. I'm inside.
Okay, acknowledging Commissioner Thielen. Commissioner Hong.
Here and alone.
Terrific. Moving to staff quickly. I'm starting with Jody.
Good morning. I'm here and alone.
Turning to
Oops. Excuse me.
Bonita.
Present and alone.
Jared.
Present and alone.
Nancy.
Present and alone.
Keith.
Present and alone.
Jennifer.
Here and alone.
Barbara.
Here, present and alone.
Giving the public an opportunity to introduce themselves.
Okay, I guess not. Just one administrative announcement. If you want to be recognized to speak, please raise your hand so I can recognize you. Then you can, you can talk so we can have you recorded for the record. Since we do have a member of the public, I'll have to read this. For the members of the public who may be joining us remotely, if the commission's video conference connection is lost during the meeting, we will recess the meeting and reconvene after our connection is restored. Please check the commission's website, which is www.ethics.hawaii.gov for information about reconnecting to the meeting. If the meeting is continued to a later date or terminated, information about this will be posted on our website. Any questions? Okay, if not, first order of business is approval of the minutes from March 20th, 2024. Any corrections by the commissioners? If not, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I so move.
Moved by Commissioner Thielen,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Tobias. Roll call.
Starting with Vice Chair Tobias.
Aye.
Commissioner Hong.
Aye.
Commissioner Thielen.
Aye.
Chair.
Chair votes aye, no objections. With the minutes of March 2024 are approved. Next, director's report.
Thank you, Chair. Turning it over for Bonita to talk about the education and training report.
Good morning, commissioners. Your materials has information regarding the latest statistics in terms of our training efforts. We've met with DOE officials for their update on their LMS system, their learning management system. They are expected to launch hopefully in June. So we'll be coordinating with them to, make sure that our training module is, incorporated with their system. Agencies are also providing updated information regarding their statistics based on their payroll rosters and training completion records. So because we're in the middle of disclosure season, we're following up with the agencies and getting that information. It's as I indicated, it's a very busy season for staff. We're, in addition to handling calls from filers, we're also requesting updated information from agencies and boards and updating our records and processing forms that are received. Annual disclosures from current employee and board filers are due May 31st, and new board members will have until the end of July to file their initial disclosures. And because it's an election year, we're also having to administer the candidate financial disclosures, which are different from campaign spending reports, but these are the financial disclosures that are filed by individuals running for state elected office. And those disclosures are due June 14th.
Okay, any questions from the commissioners? Donita, are we close to the 85% goal?
I haven't gotten the latest reports because there are a number of agencies that we're following up with. So hopefully we'll get more information following the May period once kind of the data settles. A number of agencies have gone through major reorganization, such as formerly Department of Public Safety, which is now split into two different departments. Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation and Department of Law Enforcement. So there's a lot of shuffling that has happened where personnel are moving between departments. So, you know, we're working with the frontline human resources employees that know firsthand who are, you know, assigned to those particular departments and to be able to track what their percentages are.
Okay, well, keep us posted. The goal is still there. What do we have? We started at the beginning of the year, don't we? So this is only the 4th month. Yeah. So we got plenty of time to get to that 85%. We're doing good. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Any questions from the commissioners? Any questions from the public? Next.
Thank you, Benita. Key, if you don't mind covering guidance and assignment statistics for March.
Sure. So as you can see, we got 39 complaints in the month of March. That is a pretty substantial amount. So we were dealing with a lot of complaints. We closed 26, and I think that's because we got a lot of complaints that last week. So I would anticipate the close numbers to go up next month.
Is there a reason why there's such a big increase? Is everybody paying attention to ethics now in Hawaii?
You know, I'm not really sure what the increase is, but no, we did get a substantial amount in March.
Are they 36 different complaints or similar complaints?
No, this month there were 39 different complaints. We did not have a larger event triggering the complaints.
Interesting. Any questions from the commissioners? Any questions from the public? Next.
Briefly, we do have our Q3 financial report attached, attachment 4 on page 21 of your folder. There are a couple larger expenses just to flag. Our office furniture and equipment, we're considerably higher, and that is largely related to the renovation and the move, which includes new cabinets, a new workstation, and some expenses with Hawaii Telecom transferring our phone and internet service back and forth between two different offices. But on general, looking at the overall budget, we are still significantly under budget, and we're projected to actually return a fairly healthy portion back to the general budget at the end of the year. This is largely connected to two things. One, we're under budget on staff salaries due to filling a position a bit later in the year. And then second, because of our ability to renegotiate our lease rent, we're significantly under in our office rent projections. So again, we are well under budget and looking good to close out the year, still remaining under the budget.
Well, that's good to hear. The word under budget rather than over budget. So congratulations. Any questions from the commissioners? Any questions from the public? By the way, if we're under budget, where does the excess go?
It'll get returned back to the general fund.
I hope it's not, if we don't spend it, we lose it next year.
I think we have consistently returned money back to the general fund, and to date, we've never been penalized for that. And, you know, I'd hope that that would continue. I think we've tried to take pride in not spending money if we don't need to spend it.
Well, good to hear. Hope that keeps up. Any questions from the commissioners, public? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm looking around the room. You're not in this room. But we do have, what do you call, I guess, copies, Xerox copies of the artwork that eventually will be in this room. Well, I hope it looks better than what it looks like on the Xerox copy. But we should be getting our artwork by our next meeting, so stay tuned. Media reports?
So again, this is a standing topic agenda to give the commission opportunity to talk about topics of interest in the media. I do note, I think Commissioner Thielen had flagged an article that was in both the New York Times and the Civil Beat today. And I think she was expressed interest in wanting to talk about that. So I would cede the floor, Commissioner Thielen, if you want to raise that topic.
Yes, go ahead. Commissioner Thielen?
I would urge everyone to read today's Civil Beat article and take a look at where there might be an area that we should intervene or at least support legislation that could address the problems. It's an after-hour meeting hosted by a government employee on his private time, not using government resources, but then handing out money out of a brown paper bag, so to speak, and large amounts of money. And it troubles me very much. And I'm not quite sure if we had an extra disclosure requirement, that might sort of send the message to government employees that they're going to have to disclose what they've been doing rather than waiting for Civil Beat to do an investigative report. They're doing that, by the way, in conjunction with the New York Times. I was contacted some time ago by one of the reporters to ask me about when I was back in the legislature, that long time ago, and about a certain legislation that didn't make it out. And I, not being part of the majority party, I didn't have any information about behind the scenes kinds of activities on that. But anyway, the long story, I would just suggest that you read the excellent Civil Beat article, and with an eye toward talking in the public portion of our meeting again to see what we could do.
Okay, that's a good point. Do you mind, I'm gonna ask Robert to, he said he has a copy or seen a copy. If you can send it to the commissioners and maybe to the staff if they're interested. But thank you for that information. Looking forward to reading it. Any questions by the other commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Tobias.
Does it say what the money was being given out for?
Oh, yes, political purposes, donations that were subsequently reported by the, I believe, reported by all the different candidates or sitting elected officials. But the idea, it just, in my mind, we need more disclosure on that. And if we have government employees at a high-ranking level or at any level that are hosting these kinds of after-hour brown bag money events, I think there should be a disclosure about that. And I'm not quite sure how to grab a hold of that. But please do read the article and let's talk next time.
Maybe as background, just briefly, the article, I think, was largely focused on contractors with the state of Hawaii who are otherwise, the contracting company itself is prohibited from making political contributions. However, officers, employees, or owners can individually give political contributions. And so I think the focus was on a significant amount of political contributions come from these entities, and then connecting contracts that are later then given to the underlying companies later. And so I think, there's a link there to bills that have been discussed that may somewhat get into the heart of some of what is being discussed. One arose last year out of the commission to improve standards of conduct, which would have extended the ban on political contributions, not only to contractors with the state or county, but to owners and to officers. And then there was some controversy over whether it should also extend to employees of that company. But again, that's probably, a prime central conversation that the Campaign Spending Commission, I think, has been somewhat the lead on. The other one, which is a bill that is currently pending in conference committee that we've proposed, would expand the reporting requirement of legislators, specifically if they are receiving income from somebody who is lobbying or otherwise interacting with government, which might capture some of this activity if, for example, they were employed by or consulting for some of these entities. It may actually require more disclosure and would hopefully prohibit or sort of put some using transparency to limit some of the shenanigans that might be going on currently.
Any questions from the commissioners? Why don't we go
Yeah,
ahead and
I was
ahead.
just looking at the article and the Civil Beat article, and it is fairly extensive. If we're going to discuss the article, would it be possible that Robert or someone start up some recommendations of how we might approach it? Because you're talking about allegations of over $26 million in political contributions. Is that going to be handled by the state elections commission? Are we expected to take some type of role, or are we going to get a task force together to decide among this? It is a fairly extensive. I just looked at it now on my phone. It's fairly extensive and highly suggestive of major issues.
Why don't we do this, unless there are any objections by the commissioners? Why don't you read the article? And at the same time, I want to ask, and it's a good suggestion by Commissioner Hong, ask Robert and the staff. Well, first of all, do you want to put this on the agenda? We could put it on the agenda for the next meeting. Any objections to that? Then have the recommendations, if any, by the staff of what we should do. Is that okay with the commissioners? Any objection to that?
That's a good idea.
Okay, we'll do that. And thanks for bringing it up, Commissioner Thielen. Is that okay?
That sounds wonderful.
Great. All right, we'll put it on the agenda. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Anything else by the commissioners or the public in this issue? Okay. Legislative matters.
Commissioners, just briefly, we are sort of in the final inning, so to speak, of the legislature. Bills are moving towards conference committee. Just flagging again, our budget has been signed by the governor. And so we sort of have some visibility to budget process for next year, fiscal year. The House is reconsidering its objections to HB 1881, which is a maximum administrative fine. So it sounds like they may agree to, and that bill may move forward, which would hopefully mean the bill gets transmitted to the governor. So that would increase the maximum administrative fine for both ethics and lobbying violations up to $5,000 from the current $1,000. Other bills which are noted here are all essentially headed to conference committee. And I have, reasonable optimism that most, if not all, are going to get through conference committee and hopefully go to the governor. So happy to discuss any of these if you have questions, but I hope that was sort of the bare bones of it.
Do you think any of these bills need input by any of the commissioners? In other words, appear before the committee?
So no, I don't believe so. So the conference committees tend to not accept oral testimony at this stage. It's largely supposed to be negotiations between the House and Senate about the differences between the two amendments. So a lot of the discussions, I think, are happening behind the scenes at this
Mhm.
stage. And again, I think most of these bills are in good, in a good stage. I think the one bill that I have note that is now dead that, I'd like us to revisit next year, that, your input or, our overall effort might need to increase is,
Which one is that?
it is the reforms to the lobbying. I do not have it listed here since it's now dead, which would have expanded the definition of lobbying to include some of the contracting discussions to try to create more transparency over that. And that
Okay.
bill is now dead.
We have time for that for
We
next
do.
year.
We do.
Any questions for the commissioners? Any questions from the public? All right. Item number 5, ethics oversight, judicial branch.
Just as a reminder, this is a standing topic item that we have been engaging in discussions with the judicial branch to address any potential concerns or public concerns about, the ethical administration of the judicial branch, particularly in comparison to news of the U.S. Supreme Court. And those discussions are ongoing. They've generally asked if we can pause on the discussions until after the session. We're currently talking about having another meeting in early May. And in addition, we've talked about trying to have a public meeting where they come in and potentially sort of talk about the ethical oversight of the court system and do that in a public fashion to try to, again, address any public concerns that might be there.
Just for the information for the public and of course the commissioners, we know them and the staff. This issue came up because it was brought up by the public. We don't have oversight over the judiciary. They're except for their employees, but not the judges. So we did have a meeting with them and they were very receptive of us helping them, not telling them, helping them to, or if they have any concerns about how to do an oversight in regards to ethics on the judiciary, judges, I should say, not judiciary. And they were very receptive. So we invited them over to our office to have a discussion on how we can help them in regards to ethics if it's needed, and in regards to being accountable ethically. It was brought up by the public, and I think it's because it was what happened in the United States Supreme Court, and that was a catalyst of this inquiry. Anyway, just a little background on that. Any questions by the commissioners? How about by the public? Okay. Oh, item number 6. For the last, I think, going on 6 years now. Is it 5 years? I lost track.
Commissioner, so the Akana versus Hawaii State Ethics Commission, Rona Akana did file a cert application yesterday, and it'd be my recommendation, just to preserve the attorney-client relationship, that the commission consider moving into executive session specifically to discuss, again, pursuant to section 92-5A4, consult attorneys to talk about the powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session so we can discuss this matter.
So moved.
Moved by
Okay.
Mr. Bias, seconded by Commissioner Hong. Roll call.
Starting with Vice Chair Tobias,
Aye.
Commissioner Hong,
Aye.
Commissioner Thielen,
Aye.
Chair.
Chair votes aye. We are now okay. Okay, we're back into regular session. We've completed the item on Akana case, and I don't see. Is there any other business to transact?
I think we potentially should do a short summary of the executive session, which, if you don't mind, Chair, just we discussed the current appellate proceeding involving the Akana and our strategy to move forward. And
Did we mention anything about?
I don't think so. I mean, for attorney-client reasons, I don't think
I
the
think
specifics we won't talk about.
Okay, just for the public, we discussed the Kana matter, and we are all in agreement that we should move forward in regards to the appeal that was filed by Akana and is being handled by the Solicitor General, and leave it up to the Solicitor General to proceed in regards to the certiorari. And there were no objections to that. Is that pretty much a good? Any comments by the commissioners? Is that a good summary of? Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll cross our fingers and see what happens in regards to the Supreme Court and see whether or not the Supreme Court will be accepting the writ of certiorari by Akana. Any questions by the commissioners? Any questions by the public? Okay, if not, any other business?
Adjournment.
Yeah, except for adjournment.
Move adjournment.
Moved by Commissioner Hong to adjourn. Is there a second? Commissioner
Second,
Tobias. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Starting with Vice Chair Tobias,
aye.
Commissioner Hong,
Aye.
Commissioner Thielen,
Hi,
Chair.
Chair votes aye. Motion is carried. It is now 9:45, and the Sunshine portion of the Executive Committee meeting is adjourned, and the motion is carried.